Coach, I think you guys got it by 17, and they cut it 2 on a number of occasions. What did you see, and what allowed them to kind of keep it so close with you guys tonight?
Well, they were better than us the second half. We were better than them the first half, and we missed a lot of good looks where we ran pretty good stuff, and then they threw that one in at halftime to cut it to 13. But the whole key was coming out ready to play the second half, and we didn't do it. So they were quicker, and the law of averages, usually prevail. And they shot it poorly the first half, and they kind of turned the table the second half. So I thought we were better the first half, but I thought they were certainly the better team the second half. And we were fortunate that we made some good plays down the stretch. To keep them at distance. But it was also a good game to play because of the games we played. We had played a close game, where it came down to stress in the last minute. So Kentucky did a little bit. I shouldn't say that. Kentucky did, but obviously the Tennessee game didn't, and the Marquette game did. So that was probably good for us to have to play through that.
After you had 13 rebounds, and I think everyone else now got higher than 3. Just what do you think was giving you the trouble on the glass tonight?
Well, we haven't rebounded the ball yet this year, except for Hunter. We have been a very, and we're going to be, but we're a very poor offensive rebounding team. We're getting well less than 30% of our misses back. So tonight we actually did better, believe it or not, than we have been doing on the offensive glass. Defensively is where it's struggle. If Kevin doesn't get it and Hunter doesn't get it, I don't know who gets it. KJ historically has been a better offensive rebounder than defensive, and Juan's not getting any cleanups, and Marco doesn't get any. So it's not a great rebounding team, so to speak, and the bench isn't a good rebounding group. So we've got to become more aggressive. But to be real honest with you, KJ, Hunter, and Kevin need to get them. I mean, just to call it like it is. And Hunter's been getting them, but those are the guys that need to get them.
On that same note, when you're looking, or maybe you aren't, but when Kevin's looking and trying to score more, does he have to give up something? I mean, is that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's a good point, and I haven't thought about that, but that's what players do.
Sure.
So he's been scoring the ball and rebounding the ball defensively as well as any guard in the country up until this point. So I didn't think that anyone rebounded the ball tonight. I told the guys at halftime, Hunter had 6 or 7 defensive rebounds, and the next closest guy defensive rebounds, one guy had 2, and that was Nick. Everybody else had 1. So we just don't rebound. We don't finish possessions near as well. Our first shot defense is better than what it appears, just because we haven't finished possessions very
Bill, I know they shot 9 of I think 20 from 3. Was there anything that you guys felt like you were lacking, or that they did that kind of exploited your defense overall?
Yeah, they did. They made 9. I thought the thing, first half what they make. First half they were 4 for 9, and that luck one at the end of the half. So we defended them better the first half, but I think their ability to be quicker than us and getting shots off the bounce. And they got several of them off the bounce. And then the other thing is we don't do a good job yet of playing our man before we catch it. So we'll let them catch the ball where they want to, and then close out, and then we're nervous about getting beat, and there's space for them to get the shot off. You got to make the man catch it 3 feet further out, so then you can play him as a driver, as opposed to letting him catch the ball on the line, and then you're at his mercy. And we've been beat off the bounce enough that I think the guys don't trust their feet, and it's primarily our new guys, to be real candid with you.
Coach, did you feel like looking ahead to a big one on Friday from your guys was part of the issue at all tonight?
I think if I say yes, that would be a bullshit excuse. But I think the natural thing to do is that also, I don't think it's Friday as much as it was looking back. We've been a tired team since we've been back. But I think that trap game is not fair, because that's not giving Eastern Illinois enough credit for playing well. But it wasn't the ideal game to play in the moment that we played. We need to play a game this week, but I knew going into the game that this was going to be a harder game than what people thought. At least I felt it would be.
Anything else? Oh, back, Michael?
You mentioned KJ's defensive rebounding. For him to improve there, is that something that happens with like film work? Is it mentality for KJ? How do you think the next step happens for him defensive rebounding wise?
Well, I think, yeah, film, but also KJ last year did the same thing. I mean, he didn't defensive rebound last year. What he did last year was he's guarding a guy that's bigger than him, so he tried to make sure his guy didn't get the rebound, which is a pretty good strategy if you have Jay, Will, and Kevin to clean up, and Grady, who's 6'8". We don't have that as much this year, so we got Kevin. So, but KJ's got to be a guy to hit and then release and go get. But I think too many times he's wanting somebody else to get it when he does a good job blocking off, and he's not blocking off the best rebounder per se like he did last year. He's got to be able to hit and go get.
Something Hunter said too is he feels like the team has to do a better job of forcing other teams to play poorly. You know, something you talk about a lot. Would you agree with that assessment?
Well, I actually thought the first half they did play poorly, and if we made shots and whatever, we've been up, 20 at halftime. But we didn't. And the thing about it is we're not good enough offensively, and we're not going to be a team that's going to make 50% of their three-point shots. That's not who we are. But what we can do, we've got to be better defensively to make sure no matter how we're playing, is the other team plays worse. And I don't think that our mindset is there yet to do that.
Bill, you said that you thought it was important to have a game this week ahead of UConn. What do you feel like this game gave you as opposed to maybe having more time off to rest after Mel?
Well, we needed to play. We needed situations. We needed different things. Playing last Wednesday and not playing till Friday, 9 days is too long, even with travel. So what it gave us was a win, and it gave us a chance to stress and sweat, which is going to happen a ton this year. So I think it was probably good in that regard.
A lot of assists again, and you talked with us yesterday about Timberlake and the small sample size. He made a couple in a row tonight. Does that help the sample size? Does that matter at all? Did you feel like he got going?
Could.
Okay.
I think it could. I'll be honest with you. I get frustrated when you're playing limited minutes and you don't have enough energy to guard an out of bounds underplay when you know exactly what's coming. I have a hard time with that. So I forget about the makes as much as I do. Are you kidding me? Because what happens is when you do things like that, you're not near as confident to play because you know. And we'll get better at that. Nick will get better at that. But right now it's like with so many guys, and it's not. I'm not being negative. This is factual. They're young, and it's one step forward and 2 steps back. Show progress in certain areas, and we think. So at the end of the game, we don't shade the basket and almost gave up a layup and an and one, but we get a lucky block that could have cut the lead because we don't shade the basket on out of bounds under. Those are things that it's hard for me to look past that. So we'll get better at that stuff, but they're just young kids and they're just trying to figure it out.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.